Hello, one and all! This is my review of That Time I Reincarnated Slime, Season 2, Episode 2. And I have to say, I was rather pleasantly surprised by how much of the light novel made it into the anime. Now, obviously not everything was included, but they showed 2 separate discussions on agriculture and brought in freaking Kobe the Kobold. He's not an important character by any stretch of the imagination, yet including him, including the agriculture discussions, including the trade agreements, just goes to show, how devoted they are to making this season about the world building, to making this world feel alive and real. And we saw that again when it was explained how they get hot water using ruin magic. I'm pretty sure that detail was explained much earlier in the light novel, but still, it just adds to the realness of this world. It makes it feel alive and real and something that's continually advancing, continually growing. I just freaking love that. Anyway, so start the episode, turned out the whole battle between Sufia and Shion was basically a test to show exactly what Rimuru and his kingdom were capable of doing, and to show to all of Carrion's followers that Rimuru is not a slime you should mess with. Ever. Actually, it's kind of funny. The light novel was said that if Rimuru hadn't, fought back after all their berates and jabs, then they would have basically just left because they would have decided that he wasn't a slime, a monster, a person worth working with, worth partnering with. So yeah, fighting was actually the right thing to do, even though it almost ended badly when Shion lost complete control of her maximum power magic bullet. Oh my god, I freaking love you, Shion. And I just love the absolute trust that Shion has in Rimuru, barely even hesitating when he tells her to unleash the full power of her attack directly at him. Oh, I love that, and I just love the shock look on everyone's face when they realize Rimuru took that attack without even flinching. Yeah, projectile attacks don't really work on him anymore thanks to Gluttony. I also think this scene did a really good job explaining where everyone is in terms of power scaling. Now, obviously, no one's fighting at their full strength, but still, I think we can make some judgments and estimations from what we did see. Now, Shion versus Sophia. Shion really did have her on the ropes, and her ultimate attack would have completely obliterated her. Plus, that was without her sword, so yeah, I'm gonna say Shion is stronger than Sophia. Then we have Shion versus Albus. That's a little harder to say. I'd say in terms of raw strength and power, I'd say Shion might have the advantage simply because, Albus was so utterly terrified of Shion's big ultimate attack. But Albus did manage to get under Shion's defense and get her weapon right against her neck without her even realizing she was there. So yeah, I think in an actual battle, Albus would beat Shion. We also found out in this episode that Benimaru lost to Carrion, but did beat Phobio. And it was said last episode that Benimaru is just a little bit stronger than Shion, so I definitely say Benimaru could beat Sophia. And against Albus, I'm gonna say he could pull out a win there. He's a much more restrained fighter than Shion is, more technique than just raw talent and instinct, so I think he'd be a much better match against her than Shion would be. And, just based on the shocked expressions on all their faces when Rimuru ate the attack, I'm going to say Rimuru could very soundly beat Sufia and Albus. Probably Phobio as well. But against Carrion, probably not. That might actually end up being a close fight, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Rimuru would still lose against him. Anyway, after that was all taken care of, they went to go see King Gazelle in the Dwarven Kingdom. But there was a really cool detail in the light novel that wasn't in the anime I just want to talk about for a second. Basically, the Dwarven Kingdom has 2 gates, 2 entrances, more or less. The main one, the little one, is for, everyday merchants, people coming back and forth, travelers, what have you. The big door, though, that's basically only used for the army, for the military. If they ever need to, unleash the full force of their army at once, they can open the big gates so all the soldiers can march out at once, instead of them being bottlenecked, essentially. But the big gate is also used for important dignitaries, as a sign of respect to them. Now, Rimuru only had those 3 carriages and they're rather small, so we could have easily fit through the little gates. But King Gazelle insisted on the big gate being opened. He wanted everyone in his kingdom to know, this is a man you should respect. This is a man I consider worthy of honor. That effect is diminished a little bit though, because Rimuru only brought 3 carriages, making everyone watching it thinking that he was the princess, yes I said princess, of some small country. So disappointing. On the bright side though, this is a dwarven city, and a lot of the dwarves noticed the high quality of the weapons and armors that his goblins were wearing. That told them that whoever Rimuru is, he's a person with a lot of money. Though I do think that effect is probably diminished a little bit, given that the gate guard had to be told 3 or 4 times that yes, this person right here is in fact Rimuru. I mean, it makes sense. Last time Rimuru was there, he was a slime, so he looks rather different. It's actually funny. In the light novel, Rimuru told Kaido, this whole long story about how he was actually a beautiful young girl who was cursed by a witch or something like that. So Kaido thought, wait, that story was true? Oh, that was hilarious. That was freaking hilarious. Anyway, then the episode ends with Clayman scheming something as he talks to his subordinate Mulan. And I am so very glad for this because up to this point, I've had no freaking clue how to pronounce her name. Seriously, the way it's spelled in the light novel is like it should not even be physically pronounceable, but it's Mulan. I'm very glad I can actually, pronounce it now. Yay! A few other things I like in this episode. Rimuru telling Kobe that he was basically the same species as the lycanthropes is basically like telling a newborn cat they're the same species as a freaking dragon. No, he is not. No, he is not. I just love how quickly he calmed down. Like he went like, what? Alright, I guess so. If Rimuru tells me to do it, I guess I have to do it. Oh, that was adorable. I freaking love that. Oh, also speaking of adorable, there's a scene, I think in the manga, where Gapta mistakes Sufia in her tiger form for one of the tigers that pull the carriage and starts petting her. Oh, that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. And oh god, I found Chloe just so freaking absolutely adorable when she waved to Rimuru while he's watching them from the window as they're learning fractions. Oh, that was so freaking cute. Though I am kind of glad they kept it brief. Rimuru spent a lot of time with his students, and all this, next couple episodes really needs is to show that the students are going to be okay, they're going to listen to their teachers, even when Rimuru leaves to go back to his nation. And then, oh god, we had Rigard crying for full-on minutes because he was so freaking proud of his son, which, fair point. When Rimuru showed up, they were living in huts that were falling over and on the verge of being completely wiped out. Now they're dignitaries. Now they're freaking politicians going to foreign nations on diplomatic meetings. That's such a huge growth, and he really is stepping properly into the role as a dignitary, and I just freaking love that. Speaking of crying, we saw Shion's temper tantrum, which was downright freaking terrifying. Seriously, Shion has way too much power, and she's very bad at controlling it, apparently. I don't really agree with Rimuru's logic here, though. She had such a temper tantrum that she almost destroyed his meeting room, so he decided that he's going to bring her along on a diplomatic meeting to meet with diplomats. I feel like she's much, much more likely to screw things up for you in the Dwarven Kingdom than she would be, back home, so maybe not the best decision on your part, Rimuru. Though, speaking of good decisions, oh, I freaking love him delivering beer to his workers. Rimuru really does know how to treat the people who work under him, rewarding them for their hard work and, giving them incentives to work harder, to do more, and just to show, how much he values them. And I just freaking loved it. I just freaking loved how excited and happy they were to get the beer. Though, it's only 3 barrels, and they are very, very large orcs, so I don't think that's going to last all that long. Though I guess he's still in a bit of an agricultural shortage until he gets, the trade agreement fully hammered out with Demon Lord Carrion. But once that's finalized, he'll be able to make all the beer and apple beer and all the other great stuff that he wants. Huzzah! So yeah, that was a really great episode. Did an amazing job, transferring over some of the most important points from the light novel to the anime, and I'm really happy about that. Next episode is going to be him meeting up with King Gazelle, dealing with the agreements and partnerships, whatever they have back and forth. Though the episode is titled, I believe, Return to Paradise, so do with that what you will. I think you can all already start to guess exactly why it's labeled that. If you think back to his last trip to the Dwarven Kingdom. Oh, that'll be interesting. That'll definitely be interesting. But please, let me know down below what you think of the episode. Those of you who read the light novel, is there anything you feel important that was skipped over in this episode? Anything you're glad they included? Anything you're surprised they included? Let me think all that down below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And until then, peace!